In the untamed heart of the Caucasus, where primordial landscapes guard the secrets of millennia, science has been confronted with an enigma etched into unyielding stone. Here, researchers uncovered a shaft, a deliberate wound in the earth, leading into the planet's deep and silent interior. Beneath a cryptic entrance, the Russian speleologist Artur Zhemuhov was the first to witness a subterranean world of technological wonder. The question echoed in the immense void: who could have lived here? And what intelligence engineered such a marvel? The Caucasus is a domain of wild, unforgiving nature. The notion that a prehistoric culture, advanced enough to construct impossibly sophisticated underground complexes, once thrived here seems to defy all known history. The fantastic discovery of the complex, known as Khara-khora, occurred in the year 2011. While charting the vast cave systems of the northern Caucasus, Zhemuhov noticed an aperture, barely a meter in width, that felt profoundly out of place. Its upper portion was too technical, too precise, to be a feature of natural geology. What he saw next stole his breath. During his initial survey, Zhemuhov found the shaft, which plunged approximately 80 meters into an unknown darkness. Once again, he could only stare in astonishment at the stone walls. They possessed an angularity, a geometric perfection that could not be the work of nature. Yet, for a find that should have rewritten history, an official silence descended. To this day, almost no public documentation on this sensational discovery exists. One is forced to wonder if evidence was deliberately suppressed. If the eyewitness accounts are true, authorities would have every reason to conceal a truth so monumental. What Artur Zhemuhov found is, by any measure, staggering. In the few plans and records that remain with his colleagues, one can see rough sketches of the world he entered. Initial assessments point to a lost civilization, one that left behind a complex, easily rivaling the other wonders of the ancient world in its sophistication and mystery. Deep inside, Zhemuhov mapped a system of chambers, passages, and great halls. Some were vast enough to serve as dwellings. Others were so constricted, the passages so narrow, they begged the question of who or what could have navigated this labyrinth. Within these chambers stood strange megalithic structures. They bore a superficial resemblance to known prehistoric works, but these were different. The stones were colossal, finished with an unearthly smoothness, and assembled with a precision that seems impossible for any known human hands of that era. Zhemuhov reported several halls supported by immense columns, a silent stone forest deep beneath the earth. The stones of Khara-khora remain silent, guardians of a history we have perhaps not yet earned the right to know. They stand as a testament not to what we have discovered, but to the humbling, infinite expanse of what we have forgotten. In the remote vastness of the North Caucasus, a speleologist named Artur Zhemuhov stumbled upon a secret buried deep within the earth. He found not a natural cavern, but a complex of chambers filled with stone sculptures of a stunning and unfamiliar geometric design, crafted with a precision that seemed to defy the ages. After sharing his initial findings, Artur Zhemuhov vanished. He became another ghost in a land of ancient myths, his work left to a small circle of friends who, despite ominous warnings, continue to disseminate his story across the digital ether. The true, chilling nature of his discovery lies in the report he managed to complete before he was silenced.
If you think you've seen everything, wait, what comes next will turn everything upside down.
The document, coupled with his inexplicable disappearance, forces a re-evaluation of the world we believe we know. Alongside incredible descriptions of the cave's interior architecture, the researcher left behind photographs. They captured markings etched into the stone near the cave entrance, the jagged, unmistakable sigils of the Third Reich. The question immediately arises: what were the Nazis doing in the isolated heart of the Caucasus at the site of this profound anomaly? We now understand their deep-seated propensity for the occult, for any mystery that promised power. Adolf Hitler, and more fervently his subordinate Heinrich Himmler, were consumed by the ideology of a supreme, ancestral white race. A lineage of god-men they believed had once ruled the planet. Hitler co-opted this concept from ancient mythology, twisting it into the core of his monstrous vision. Himmler, through his Ahnenerbe, the Ancestral Heritage Research and Teaching Society, dispatched expeditions across the globe. They scoured Tibet, Antarctica, and the Middle East, hunting for mystical artifacts and the lost traces of these supposed former masters of the earth. It is entirely plausible, even probable, that nearly a century ago, Nazi intelligence knew of the place they called Khara-khora. Was this abandoned site in the Caucasus, this complex of impossible geometry, one of their primary targets? Some of the more extreme theories, born from Zhemuhov's report, whisper of an ancient missile base, a technological relic in the North Caucasus. To understand the appeal of this region, one must look at the land itself. Today, the Caucasus remains a wild and romantic realm, a place of staggering natural beauty known to mountaineers and adventurers. The greater and lesser Caucasus ranges dominate the landscape, their snow-capped peaks piercing the sky above deep gorges and primordial forests. Between these colossal ranges lie fertile valleys, where rivers carve meandering paths through the terrain. Even now, it is sparsely populated. A century ago, it was a world unto itself, a place of profound isolation. Could this very seclusion have once attracted a highly advanced, non-human civilization? The peoples of the Caucasus are renowned for their hospitality and their fierce attachment to tradition. Countless ethnic groups preserve legends passed down through generations, tales of giants, of powerful spirits, and of dwarves who worked the mountains. To this day, in the rural highlands, people reside in simple stone houses, while ancient defensive towers stand sentinel along the ridges, monuments to a long history of conflict and independence. The influence of modernity is a distant echo. The great cities, Tbilisi in Georgia, Baku in neighboring Azerbaijan, or Yerevan in mountainous Armenia, are worlds away. Much of the Caucasus feels untouched, a landscape where nature's dominion is absolute. For anyone wishing to conduct work in secret or to hide something of immense value, there could be no better place. One can trek for days on foot without encountering another soul, lost in a silence broken only by the wind. Was it fortune then, or a terrible misfortune, that befell Artur Zhemuhov when he found that entrance? He peeled back a layer of reality, revealing a convergence of ancient mystery and the darkest ambitions of modern history. The Caucasus keeps its counsel, its mountains holding secrets far older than any nation or ideology. Zhemuhov's disappearance serves as a
If you think you've seen everything, wait.
stark reminder that some doors, once opened, can never be closed, and that the past is never truly buried. It is merely waiting, silent and patient, in the deep places of the earth. In the remote Caucasus Mountains, a man vanishes. Artur Zhemuhov, an explorer, leaves behind nothing but a set of cryptic notes and a chilling mystery. A chasm in the earth known as Khara-khora, the most enigmatic of caves. In the wake of his disappearance, the contents of his records ignited a firestorm of speculation, for they spoke not of a natural wonder, but of something profoundly unsettling. Among those captivated by the puzzle is Vadim Chernobrov, a researcher dedicated to the anomalies of Russian archaeology. To Chernobrov, Khara-khora was no mere cave. It was a technological artifact of immense significance. Poring over the detailed plans left by Zhemuhov, he published a study with the conclusion that defied conventional history. Chernobrov demonstrated that the entrance shaft, descending 80 meters into the earth, was not a product of natural erosion. Its dimensions, its length, and its subtle convexities corresponded with breathtaking accuracy to the form of a launch vehicle, a rocket. The implications are staggering. Could it be that thousands of years ago, this remote mountain pass was a launch site for an unknown civilization? The alternative seems just as fantastic, that this was a secret silo, a hidden relic of the Soviet Union or the modern Russian military. Yet, Zhemuhov's own notes argue against a recent origin. His detailed descriptions are devoid of the hallmarks of 20th century construction. There is no mention of concrete, of steel reinforcements, of pipes or electrical conduits. Instead, he speaks of an ancient place, built with giant megaliths and stone structures assembled with a precision that seems to mock our own engineering prowess. These megaliths, colossal blocks of stone, quarried and erected by human hands, form the bedrock of our planet's oldest mysteries. They are silent columns, monumental slabs, and natural boulders moved and aligned with an astronomical or geometric purpose we can no longer divine. They have endured the erosion of millennia, silent witnesses to forgotten epochs. We are left to wonder if this permanence was the very intention of their builders. This paradox of primitive tools and impossible precision is not unique to the Caucasus. It echoes across continents, finding its most profound evident over 100 tons are fitted together with such exactitude that not even a sheet of paper can be slipped between them. No mortar was used. For centuries, they have rested upon one another, a jigsaw of giants fused by gravity and an incomprehensible skill, destined to remain long after our own skyscrapers of steel and glass have crumbled to dust. And then there are the Pyramids of Giza, the ultimate enigma. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, a wonder of the ancient world, remains a puzzle for modern science. Here too we find impossibly hard granite, quarried from vast distance, sheathed thousands of years ago. The accepted narrative provides only soft bronze tools, implements wholly inadequate for the task of shaping such resilient stone. The chasm between their known tools and their monumental achievements is a void in our understanding of the past. From a strange shaft in the Caucasus to the cyclopean walls of the Andes and the perfect geometry of the Giza Plateau,
If you think you've seen everything, wait. What comes next will turn everything upside down.
a single, haunting question emerges. These are not merely monuments, they are messages, encoded in a language of stone and scale that we have yet to decipher. They challenge the linear story of human progress we tell ourselves, suggesting that perhaps we are a species with amnesia, living amongst the ruins of a chapter of our own history that we have long forgotten. The stones remain, their silence a testament to a knowledge that has been lost to time, waiting for a generation that is finally ready to listen. Within the stone heart of the Great Pyramid, a profound enigma persists. Here, impossibly narrow shafts ascend through the colossal structure, channels too constricted for any human passage, yet engineered with deliberate purpose. For generations, scholars held that this was the final resting place of the great pharaoh Khufu, a tomb of unparalleled grandeur. This was a monumental miscalculation. Within its labyrinthine corridors, no true burial chamber has ever been found. Not a single funerary treasure, not 1 ounce of gold, not one hieroglyphic inscription detailing the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Nothing. The few mummified remains discovered within its confines belong to individuals interred centuries, even millennia, after the age of Khufu, opportunistic burials in a vast, empty monument. This gaping void of evidence has given rise to a cascade of unsettling questions. If not a tomb, then what? Speculation veers from the orthodox to the extraordinary, that these pyramids were not places of worship, but functional components of a lost technology. Theories range from ancient power plants harnessing the Earth's telluric currents to colossal navigational beacons, or even launch sites for vessels unknown to our history. Yet, for all their allure, not one of these hypotheses has ever been proven. The mystery deepens when the lens is pulled back, revealing a global pattern. The Russian researcher Vadim Chernobrov noted a startling architectural resonance, a common language of design connecting the pyramid's shafts to vast subterranean tunnel systems. He traced a disquieting link between the Giza Plateau, the subterranean bunkers of Khara-khora, and enigmatic pyramidal structures in the Caucasus. Suddenly, we see a worldwide network of anomalies, astonishingly precise constructions built from multi-ton stone blocks, all sharing a cryptic purpose and a silent origin. These structures appear across the globe, attributed to epochs when humanity supposedly possessed only the most rudimentary technology. These were times, we are told, before the mastery of iron tools, before the formal disciplines of structural engineering, often before the invention of complex mathematical systems. And most baffling of all is the silence, the complete and total absence of any record of their construction. Nowhere in the vast library of Egyptian reliefs and hieroglyphs is there a single depiction of how the pyramids were built. No blueprints, no chronicles, no testament to the greatest engineering feat of the ancient world. This profound silence has led investigators far from the academic mainstream to posit a radical theory: that these monuments are far, far older than we are told, that they are not the products of nascent civilizations, but the vestiges of a far earlier one. It is a possibility that forces us to consider that other cultures, other intelligent species perhaps, existed on this planet long before the dawn of our own recorded history. We must be prepared to accept that they may have wielded technologies that stretch the very fabric of our understanding. The evidence is not confined to stone and mortar. In the islands of Japan, we find the Dogū figurines, relics of the Jomon culture. This civilization flourished for a staggering duration, its earliest traces reaching back an incredible 14,000 years into the past, until it vanished without explanation around the year 300 BCE. They left behind thousands of strange ceramic figures, humanoid beings clad in what can only be described as intricate suits, their faces obscured by bizarre, futuristic helmets. Mainstream historians interpret these as religious effigies, representations of deities or shamans in ceremonial attire. But to others, the resemblance is too specific, too technological. They argue the Dogū are not symbols, but depictions, portraits of visitors from a technologically superior civilization, perhaps even one that was a silent testament that demands an explanation. From the shafts of Giza to the ceramic figures of Japan, we are confronted by the same immutable paradox: artifacts of impossible sophistication left by cultures that supposedly lacked the means to create them. They are ghosts in our own history, challenging the linear narrative of human progress. They whisper of chapters torn from our collective story, of knowledge lost, and of a past far stranger and more complex than we have ever dared to imagine. Beneath the waves, off the coast of Japan, lies a riddle carved in stone, the Yonaguni Monument. Its vast, terraced platforms and precisely cut right angles suggest the hand of a forgotten architect. Mainstream geology insists these are merely the strange, yet natural, fractures of sandstone. But the haunting geometry whispers of a civilization lost to the sea. Half a world away, in the cold, dark waters of the Baltic, sonar pulses revealed another enigma. Known as the Baltic Sea anomaly, its near-perfect circular shape defies simple explanation. While many scientists dismiss it as a unique glacial deposit, its form echoes the design of a manufactured craft. More unsettling are the persistent accounts from vessel crews of catastrophic electronic failures, a dead zone.
And now comes the part no one talks about. But this is where the real mystery begins.
Radio silence that descends upon any who venture too close. Whether they are geological oddities or the silent tombs of a forgotten technological age, these structures challenge our timeline of the past. They remind us that the ocean floor may hold secrets far older and more profound than our own recorded history.